They won't take any bullshit. No way.
Hold your intimidate.
That was gymming.
Growing up was icky.
Failure is something that is your friend.
You never know. हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. I have no clue.
Midlife crisis hitting us.
तू procrastinate करती है?
I'm sexy the way I am. We live in a world where we are drowning in the ocean of overconsumption and connectivity. Yet, this is the loneliest we've ever been. We live in a world where we play to be someone on social media every single day. Yet, we're scared to commit to be that someone in real life. We live in a world where a woman's biological clock is ticking louder than our alarm clocks, where we're celebrating a woman successfully for her successful things in public. But behind the back doors, we're still calling her intimidating, too loud, not marriageable. We live in a world where we follow the moon, the star, the sun signs to predict our future. Yet, it is almost impossible for us to embrace what we have in the present moment. Joining me today are two wonderful women, Nitibha Kaul and Sejal Kumar.
That was a really good intro.
Yeah? Was it?
Very deep and intense.
I tried to internalize a little bit before writing it down. Let's do a quick vibe check. What's happening? What are our outs for 2024? What are our ins for 2024?
Oh my god, outs and ins.
Yeah. You know, like I hate most trends, but I just thought this
one is a cool one.
You know, it makes you reflect a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
I think ins is definitely like, personally for me, in this phase of my life, I feel very motivated in a good way, not to like prove anybody wrong or to win a race or whatever else. I feel motivated to actually do things that I really love doing and to do it because I want to fully express my like childhood dreams or whatever. And hence, like making a list of things I want to do has been a really nice experience for me. So for me, it's that like acha wala motivation.
Like full vision boarding and like going for it, goal oriented.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Like that's my genre of like content that I like to watch and just the vibe.
Nice.
What about you?
For me, I think last year, towards the end of last year, was actually a bit of a wake-up call because there were a lot of thoughts and emotions and feelings that I did not expect me to have and to feel. And that was just like a wake-up call in terms of, okay, 2024 has to be about self-work. For me, it has to be about being the best version and not just saying it for the sake of it, because I know being the best version of yourself is like so overdone. Everybody says it, but I have actually started the year practicing, including a few practices in my day-to-day life, which are actually scientifically proven to make you the best version of yourself.
Guys, Nitibha reached half an hour before her call time. I cannot believe
that is a part of it, a huge part of
this
it,
is
because time
possibly the 20th time we're meeting in the last 10 years.
and that I'm early.
Never happened.
Yeah.
Never.
We've known each other for a long time, and
in fact, I wanted to say this. I thought I'd actually say this when we start talking. My first recollection of meeting you was probably one of our common friends' birthday parties sometime in college.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like back in the day. I'm talking about some 10 years ago.
More than 10
years ago.
Yeah. It's insane, right?
It's
because
insane. And then I remember you were trying to do this travel vlog with one of your friends.
With one of my colleagues and my senior from college.
Correct.
So we were trying to do...
And I remember we met for that.
It was an interesting...
conversation.
Because I think you were already very active on social media at that point.
Correct. And Bigg Boss hadn't even happened.
So we met. So me and my colleague at Google, we wanted to start a travel vlog channel on YouTube, and I think she was really active on social media at that point. So we met her and we were like, okay,
what's blogger?
You were a blogger. She was a blogger. Like she wasn't just, an entrepreneur blogger. She was a blogger.
I started my brand at that point.
Yeah.
I was just posting selfies at that point, guys. I had a full-time corporate job.
And we were like, we must speak with her and take tips on how to kickstart our social media career, gain followers. And it was a really nice.
I had more followers than Nitibha.
Oh my god, flex.
Flex.
And it was then it was such a 360-degree switch for me in my social media career, because
Correct.
I did Bigg Boss, and that was obviously, you know, it was a
Game-changing,
game
yeah.
changer for me. But no, I
Life
was
altering more than game changing, you know.
it altered everything. So yeah, I mean, now after having, you know, it's a nice 5 years of having that altered life and living that dream per se, I felt like I had reached a point where it was all crashing down, and I was really looking at doing something or changing something internally and externally that could help me, you know, create a better 2024. So I feel like that self-work has been really strong, a strong in for me in this year. Yeah.
I am in that era where I want to slow down a little bit. I want to be able to say no a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know sounds very cliched, you know, but like
It's
these things we
not.
need to still learn.
It's also like I realized that it also may be a woman thing, because if you say no, or forget saying no, if you kind of like are assertive. I used to have this problem like in the workspace a lot, like with managers or whatever. Like if I'm being assertive, I'm asking for what I want, or I don't like this, like I would instantly get panicked, like, oh my god, did I upset these people?
Yeah.
Oh my god, do they think I'm
Gaslighting
rude?
yourself.
Yeah, do they think I'm rude or like too over emotional and whatever?
Too
And
demanding.
bitch, difficult to work with. On the internet, I don't know, I always came across as like, oh sweet, like relatable
Yeah.
kind of gal.
Girl
but
next door, bye.
yeah, but a girl next door doesn't have to be like a meek person, right? It can still be like
Not at
assertive
all. And in
person.
fact, I wanted to say this. Like I also seen your journey. You know, we met so many years ago.
Yes.
By the way, for
we should
people who
talk
don't
about
know,
how
we should talk about
know
it.
each other.
Why don't
actually.
you tell everyone?
Okay, so we used to go to the same dance class. Okay, I feel like मैं हर किसी को जानती हूँ गुड़गांव में because of dance work.
class.
सब आते थे वहाँ पे. सब आते थे.
Right.
हर इंसान.
And ये बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा डांस करती थी. By the way,
हाँ,
ये
I know.
probation. You were a probationer, right?
Yeah.
I want to say, when you say that, you know, you have that vibe on the internet where
Yeah.
you're perceived as a
Used
girl
to.
next door.
I feel like I've broken that now.
Oh,
I'm
now
done.
with at least even the content that you're putting out,
Putting
it's
out.
been extremely like out there, you know,
Yeah, because
which
I
I
don't wanna
love.
be that person
but I
anymore.
always thought you were that person.
I actually, or maybe it was like self-created, because you know when you work with brands, or if you work with anybody, like you're supposed to have like this one-liner for yourself, like what is your brand, like as a person.
What's
And
your personal brand? Yeah.
yes, yeah, and it would always be like, I remember this one campaign I did, so there were like 5 girls who were a part of it, okay. किसी का bold था, किसी का ये, और मेरा girl next door था. And
वो tag बन गया.
yeah, and at that time I was pretty comfortable being that person, because I was like, चल ठीक है, मेरा चल रहा है, this is my vibe, I will, you know, capitalize it and just whatever. But as a person who was growing, you want to hire people, and I found myself like stuck there. So I was like, this is not for me. I need to not box myself there.
yourself, yeah.
I'm 26.
Or maybe
I don't want to be that person.
Did you realize that maybe you were doing a little bit of a performance?
Yes.
You know,
After
that you
a
were
point
not
it
being
became.
yourself entirely.
Yeah.
Because after a point when you feel like, okay, the brands want me to be this person, my audience wants me to be this person, so I might want to also be this person, but that might not
And
necessarily
you very
align.
nicely successfully made that happen for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and you
Yeah.
convinced yourself that you were that person. I
It's
feel
like you
that
make a
happens,
box. अपने हाथ. Sometimes when I would be in those like overthinking spirals, I'll be like, मैंने इतने प्यार से अपने हाथों से ये box बनाया है.
हाँ.
You know, I
और
have no
इसको
one
कैसे-
else to blame for that.
Yeah.
But then, so I started introspecting, and I was like, this, you know, I have to be like actually authentic, and this can't be me anymore. So changing content, just being more authentic, I had to like come more into myself, and I feel way more relaxed more than anything else. मेरे को नहीं करना सबको impress अभी, वो हो गया है.
I don't relate to who I was 3 years ago. Or I don't relate to myself who I was 2 years ago, right? So that also changes, right? So maybe there was a little bit of a vibe of that girl next door, but now it's not there anymore because you've sort of grown out of that, right?
Yeah, 100%. And what does girl next door even mean? Just like a nice
That's also
person,
true, yeah.
normal person.
Define करना चाहिए
Of
हमें
course.
girl next door क्या होता है?
Yeah, why can't a sexy, I don't know, man, like somebody who comes across as a diva be a girl next
Yes.
door at, you know, at heart?
We're all girl next
We're all
doors,
girl next
yeah.
doors and we're all divas. Like,
Yes.
why are we boxing ourselves into any
Yeah.
percent?
बिल्कुल.
Yeah.
But Sejal, yeah, YouTube fashion creator, then actor, then a very variety influencer,
Yeah.
to a singer, to
Yeah.
a storyteller. I love your 1 minute drama. Like, has this career pivot been intentional, or like you're just going with the flow?
No, yes and no. Like I am quite
That's a good question.
Like I am quite a one thing after the other kind of person, like from the very beginning. And when I started off my YouTube channel, okay, 2015, I was inspired by people who were like they had started off with lifestyle content and they eventually used that to transition into acting or singing and being some sort of fashion icon, okay? That was always my vision. But then I kind of got stuck in creating the same content because I was too greedy for the views. And I had this like existential crisis in 2020 that, but this is not aligning to like where I actually want to go. I had done one web series by then, which was like, I was like, yes, I kind of made it happen.
Foraying into acting.
Yes, even though I'm making Sarojini Halls, somehow I got cast in a show. I was like, I have manifested this truly. But then after that, I think I was very fearful of like, I need this deal. I need to mold myself this way, la 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 la. Lots of like external influences in my mindset.
And self-inflicted pressure, I think, wo bhi to drive karta hai.
And very attached to like the outcome. Like, if I do this, then I will get that. You have to, kind of surrender a little bit. So all that kind of added up and I felt that whatever I'm doing is not really aligned with where I as a person truly want to go. Like my childhood self had specific dreams. So I really need to change. And I took some time to reevaluate, okay, what's the kind of look I want for myself? What's the kind of like content I want to make? What should the production be like? I want to sing. What does it have to look like? And similarly, like I reevaluated, even in my older content, the content I really loved to make had some sort of like cool scripting, cool filming,
More thought.
And I always looked at myself as a director because I direct everything and like do the
So add director to your list.
My God.
वो भी अभी
But I think we're
होएगा.
all in the middle of like this whole zone of portfolio careers. You know?
Yeah.
I know
And
Nitibha
it's
is
good to be
somebody
multi,
who goes with the flow. Like I know, like she'll be like, सुबह ये है मैं रात को कर रही हूँ, and like she'll decide and then she go
Man,
for it.
I
Okay?
Because I'm a
wish I
type
could do
7.
that.
Because I'm a type 7.
What's a type 7?
It's called Enneagram.
Yeah,
You can Google it. So it's basically
Personality types.
it's like a MBTI, but a more advanced version of that. So I did a 2 or 3 day workshop where you figure out. So there are technically, I think, 8 or 9 personality types that all of the world's population can fit into.
9, yeah.
Like for example, type 1 is the perfectionist, right? So after
type 1.
You're type 1.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I think Sakhi could be a type 1 because she's like, I make lists for everything. I even make a list of the emotions that I'm feeling and how I need to deal with them.
Toxic
that was
type 1.
backstage
I
conversation.
might be a type 1 too.
I think you could be a type 1 too. Coming back to the type 7. Type 7 is the adventurer. Okay, and that is, I mean, I resonated with it the first moment I heard it, and over the next 3 days of the Enneagram workshop, it got very much confirmed that I'm a strong type 7. And type 7s are basically the adventurers. They are motivated by the next new thing or the next new adventure in life. So for me, being in the same spot, doing the same thing when I was working at Google for 2 years. After 2 years, it was my type 7-ness was being drained out because I was working in the same company. I was going to the same job.
Lot of familiarity.
The most beautiful place to work at and one of the most enriching times of my life. But the motivating factor in my life has always been to try something new, to do something out of the box and to set out on a new adventure. So that's why Miss India happened, and then Bigg Boss happened, and then social media happened. And now I feel like the adventurer in me has explored and done all the crazy things that she could possibly do. And now the next adventure for me is to get on this journey of, really self-discovery, understanding who I really am. But it is also, see, everything has a gift and a curse. So of course the curse is to, constantly be chasing something new. And when you're in that rat race, you never can be fulfilled because then nothing's, and that is exactly what happened last year. Was literally, I was in Brazil, this is something I'm obviously sharing for the first time on social media or on a podcast, but I was in Brazil with a very, very cool company they were flying me business class. It was really fancy. And it was an all-expense paid trip with some of the brightest people in the globe, you know, who were invited in this one place, and we were having, it was actually an alcohol brand that we were endorsing. Why am I not feeling excited? Why am I not feeling happy? This is checking off all the check boxes of being type 7. So, and that's where I was like, okay, now I need to stop, take a moment, pause, and really work on not running after the next thing, but also running after, you know, healing and working on myself. So that's probably how 2024 has begun, on such a quiet and a peaceful note for me.
Yeah, I resonate with this because in 2020, when I was kind of just like, whatever, there's too much happening. Like I said, like I felt like I have done everything. I remember like I would win awards for something and I would have zero excitement. Absolutely zero. Or if I'm getting to do like really cool things, zero appreciation, zero excitement. And I, like my partner, whenever I would call and be like, acha ye meko karna hai, he'd just be like, are you crazy? Like, why are you not excited? And I would scold him.
It's a good thing.
I would scold him because I was not aware of whatever. So I would act like an idiot and scold him. You don't know. This is just happening. You don't know. And I would just blame it. And I would find him annoying. But obviously I see the irony in that now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just like, dude, nothing is exciting me because in my mind, that like perfectionist mindset, mere liye, if I've grown, say like at this rate, at 10% in my first year, my second year I have to grow at 20. The third year I have to grow at 30. Like it needs to be exponentially high for me to have any sort of like appreciation for myself. And obviously, after the point, thoda sa plateau hota hai. You collect all the good things and they are consistent for a bit.
Average out hota hai.
In 2021, I think 2022, I lost like 40,000 followers. And it was really like difficult to see because you're putting in the effort every day and, you know, to still keep yourself motivated, because when you reinvent yourself, some people might want to leave, some people might want to not like you and be very vocal about it.
Yeah.
And that
some, you know, supporters will stick around.
and some, yeah, and the,
Of course.
you know, and I really value those people. And that's like when my mental health, I was very like, oh my God, this failure is so difficult to deal with. Main iska kya karu? And I started branding it as a failure. But now I just look at it as like a very necessary lesson. I had to like learn. I think this is my thesis. Like I had to learn detachment from like how she is, like not affected by the comments. It doesn't affect the vision and your plan. And I think finally I've learned that lesson. So that's my 2024.
It must be daunting, you know, when you said it, and the way she said it also, you still feels like, you know, you have some certain emotions attached
To them, of course.
And it sounds kind of like, oh, little like superficial and stuff, but it's also like people, it's just difficult because you're putting in the hard work. It's not like you're slacking. So, but I think that's a good lesson to learn though, for sure, because if you're in it for the long game, like all these things will happen.
I think we also attach a lot of, especially, you know, very career-oriented women or everyone, despite the gender, whoever's career-oriented, we derive a lot of our self-worth from our work and from our professional careers and how they're going. So that's why when there is a dip like what she faced, even I've had hit 1 million followers and then gone back to whatever 900 XYZ. So we are, you know, we lose that, we have to zoom out in that time and figure out that, hey, you know what? I have like 900,000 followers. I have
who stuck around.
Why am I focusing all my energies on those 5,000 or the 40,000 people or the 10,000 people who dropped off? You know, and that's only because our self-worth is so deeply in it attached to how well we're doing professionally. Why can't we be happy even if we're doing extremely poorly professionally?
Yeah.
Why can't we be happy, content, and be grateful for all that we've achieved and we have, even if our Instagram is going to shit, you know? Like, so I think that reprogramming is very important, and a failure, what we perceive as failure or mistake or a, you know, downfall like that helps us understand and gain things, put things into perspective.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody told me this, that, you know, as creators, you don't, as selfish as it might sound, you can't create what others want you to create. You have to create what internally fuels you, motivates you.
Exhausted doing that.
Well, it's because
You
then
won't
you're
be doing it
creating
for yourself.
When you're not doing it for yourself, and you're not coming from a space of authenticity. And if it's not authentic, even if you're creating for those people, they will not consume it because they'll be like, oh, she's just bluffing us, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes the lessons, like if you're not doing well, like you said, you level up in your, personal skills, your attitude towards yourself. And maybe that is what was lacking. Like, this is what I feel. Maybe that is what was lacking in me. Hence, I couldn't reach the goals that I wanted. So I needed to do this padhai likhai on myself so I can actually, like in me, I felt my leadership skills really needed work. My reaction to any small mistake that I make or others make really needed work.
Yeah.
Confidence. And abhi, I think thoda na sowing time and then harvesting time, I realized that life is really long. Like I cannot keep like counting my quarters and seasons like that. I have to be a little mature about it.
That's a nice way to, it's a nice perspective to have, sowing and harvesting time.
All of us are hustlers doing well for ourselves, making it happen, independent, all of that, right? Like, but on the other flip side of it, there is that, I said it in my introduction also, like, we say that we have our own choice, but there's a footnote of terms and conditions, that comes with, okay, now you're 30, you have to be married, or say, for example, I don't, it's not even if you're in a relationship, you're expected to sort of consummate and, have a baby at a certain point because, arey, ab to age ho raha hai, ye ho raha hai. That does bog me down. Even today, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, like people around me are doing a certain thing. Am I going in the wrong direction?
Or are we going too slow?
Or are we going too slow in that one aspect of our lives? That as much as I'd want to say I'm perfectly okay with it, that does bog me down sometimes.
Can I say something? I am not okay with it. Like, I'm not okay with, of course, people saying, oh, get married at this age and do this and do that. But I'm also at this stage in my life where I am very much ready to...
I'm ready too, but
I
want to have a companion,
And settle,
I want to settle, I'm not chasing it proactively, sure. I might do that as well, like maybe, when I feel like, oh, ab to karna hai, this is my goal, like I'll put it in my to-do list, and I'll start,
let's do it,
like make an entire plan out of it and do it, right? However, to come into your point, you're saying that you feel bad about it.
Honestly, I feel like it's also about how much importance or how much does what others have to say penetrate your system and penetrate your thought process. Luckily for me, I've been to a point that people used to call me, now I've become very emotional and all, but at one point people used to call me like, she's to isko to koi farak hi nahi padta, like she's so stone-hearted, like farak hi nahi padta, and I'm okay being that way because I feel like as long as I'm feeling my emotions and the emotions of people who are around me and who are definitely, thankfully, not pressurizing me like my parents or whatever, I'm okay to come across as like stone-hearted and having a wall कि अच्छा आप बोल रहे हो या पे आप कर रहे हो मुझे कोई फर्क मतलब it's not
मुझे जो सुनना है मैं वो सुन रही हूँ मुझे जो लेना है मैं ले रही हूँ
similar to trolling and negative social media comments I'm very thick-skinned मेरे को फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता
सच में नहीं
That's
पड़ता
a great mindset. I love that.
वो पड़ता नहीं है because that's just that's just who I am.
Sejal, where are you coming from in your head?
Well, I mean, my mom's a gynecologist, so she actually had like a super real conversation with me last year when she told me कि अभी ना freeze करने का सोच सकते हो. Like my parents, touch wood, are like really lovely and they've never like pressurized me and they're like not judgmental at all. So they were like, they said कि जो भी तुम्हें करना है करो, but this is, females' bodies limitation, so you should think about it. अगर करना है तो plan कर लो, अगर नहीं करना है तो फिर बाद में मत करना. Because she has a lot of patients who do want to conceive at like 35, 36. So going through IVF and all those things, it's not an easy process. Even freezing your eggs is not an easy process.
It's not.
So
I got myself checked.
But I also, like after this conversation, I thought about it more because as a younger person, I was very like, I don't want to get married. I will never have a baby, because I felt that to be a strong woman, I have to be that way, okay?
Yeah.
But in the, like, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I love kids, okay? Like, I genuinely, more than grown-ups, I like kids.
Both right?
And like, I think children are so, obviously they're so authentic,
Positive.
right?
Yeah.
They
ये तो
are
है.
just so real. I like to talk to children more
From a
than
distance, they're good.
मुझे तो क्या पता नहीं, like I have younger cousins, so I babysat all my cousins, and I'm really good with kids, and I love children. Oh my
God, that is so cute.
Like, I like making friends with kids. I don't like grown-ups as much as I
You truly
like
sound
kids.
like the girl who used to sleep at 10 p.m. every day.
So whatever, it's not that, but in general, I just like that they're so real and authentic, and you know, when people grow up, there's like a wall.
Yeah.
And even like
Yeah, we keep like having these layers of masks, वो authenticity. And then we reach a point now we're all trying to
Trying to
unmask
peel
and
it.
come back
And get
to
back
our
to that kid,
you
the
know.
child, the inner child.
Right?
you know.
Like all these
Even-
rituals, etc. I feel like this
Yeah.
is one of the primary goals of,
Yes.
and the vision of that, you know, to be in touch with your inner child. Of
absolutely.
Yeah.
how you were born, like how we are actually wired to be. you
yeah.
know.
But coming back to the children thing, I've realized that, you know, maybe मैं कर लूँगी शादी. I still haven't decided, but I think maybe I'll do it, and maybe like having a kid and all those things, it doesn't threaten like my strength as a woman.
Oh, no.
Because that was my mindset before. And you never know. हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. I have no clue. I literally don't know. But I do think I was really scared to like plan things out. कि oh no, कि पता नहीं क्या होगा. But I discovered like not so long ago that it's nice to like plan it out. Okay, like maybe if by 30, 31 I want to have to be like married, and then I can have a kid, and then what am I going to do?
29, I'm doing the math in my head.
Yeah, whatever. And then
लड़का भी चाहिए.
वो हो जाएगा sort out. और उसके बाद
वो सेकेंडरी है, पहले हमें अपना प्लानिंग कर दिया. Type 1 for sure.
और फिर उसके बाद no, but you know, I was avoiding it.
Type
I was
1 नहीं है.
procrastinating because I was
data
afraid.
percentages and Excel sheets and pivot tables to have my plan.
But then I also feel ना that उसके बाद फिर मैं काम क्या करूँगी, and all of those
कैसे
things.
करूँगी
घर कब
manage, हाँ.
खरीदूँगी, या अगर मुझे खरीदना है घर नहीं खरीदना. And I was afraid of these decisions because I was afraid to grow up, and I wanted to be like a young child forever, because I felt growing up was icky and I will become irrelevant and lose my career. This is just like media fed.
Wow, yeah.
Like, and I don't know if other people feel this way. Like, I genuinely
I
felt this
think-
way.
I feel like it's very
but it is-
prevalent in the acting, in the modeling, in the pageantry
Yeah,
space,
yes,
because
like
obviously
pageants, my God, the
25
effect.
is the highest age limit. Right?
Yes, 25. And the
Imagine,
effect it has
you
had
can't
on my
participate
brain.
in a pageant after 25. No.
So
Because
many
you-
of my friends and people around me have gone for these pageants, but
Because
like I
you're
didn't
not
know this
beautiful
kinda-
after 25.
Right.
And you are not
What is the
beautiful.
25 age limit?
And also, you're
What
not
are you
beautiful
saying?
under 5'6". That also. It's just a ridiculous rule. Like,
Yeah,
after
5'6".
That brings me, you know, like you both are influencers, you know, in that way. And I don't particularly like the word influencer.
Yeah.
But quote unquote,
हाँ,
there are a
चलेगा.
lot of people looking up to what you do and taking inspiration, right? And to coming to your point of both of you all have like this common stitch of beauty pageants in your history, in
Yeah.
your career, you know, journeys. Do you feel the need to break some
Yes.
of these beauty
Oh my God,
standards?
so
and what do
many.
you do about it?
I made a podcast episode about this. Like, when I did the pageants, I was 21. And at that time, I was really trying to just get into the entertainment media field through whatever routes I could think of as a college student, okay? And this was one of them. Then I had started my YouTube channel by then already. I had 30,000 subscribers when I did the pageant. So that was another thing. Agar ye nahi hua, to obviously I have my channel, I can continue working there. But this was a thing, and the biggest thing, and I hope that it's not like that anymore, I was told to lose weight on my face so many times.
Yeah.
So my height is 5'7". पहली बात तो height में भी तुम छोटे, like these are like, and I don't want to sound like I'm just blaming them, but
Yeah.
I think these are things that these are so dumb. Like, you can't judge someone's beauty based on like these things or just intelligence or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, to be told to lose weight on your face is quite hard to hear.
And especially at that age.
At that age, yeah. Now I was like 55 kgs, yeah, at 5'7", And then
You were expected to lose more weight.
yeah, so I came
beyond
down
that.
to 51, and then I just stopped eating for a long time. And then Abibi, I have to figure out, I think finally now I figured out a balance with like eating normally
But
and
you
like
had
exercising normally.
I had a love-hate relationship
Yeah,
with food.
I would like gain weight a lot, then lose it ekdam, then gain it again. So like this like, you know, being in like two polarities with my relationship with food and like my body. So
I actually went through that phase as well, now that I think about it. It's just that because I've just like shut down these, you know, phases
Moved
of my
on
life.
from
I've just
them.
moved
Yeah.
on, not felt emotionally connected to all of those times. But now that she mentioned it, of course, like I had a similar experience. I went to the pageant and I didn't make it through past the Delhi finale, and somebody from their team told me that I need to lose weight. I don't remember exactly what she said, but you need to get into better shape.
So basically body shame हो यो दोनों के
Body
दोनों,
shame, हाँ.
right? And
Body
when it
shame
comes to
मतलब in a
pageants.
way कि they're not saying it to your face कि आप ऐसे नहीं ऐसे करो,
हाँ, but
but
indirect body
indirectly,
और
हाँ.
क्या वो what
They're
what
asking
is
you
it?
to
You
alter
know?
your body to fit into the whole pageantry, pageant winner profile. You know,
it's
All of
ridiculous.
these are boxes that are made
It's
for us. You
It
know,
is ridiculous,
30s
and
shadi, like now, you know, there's you know, you have to have a baby by certain age. You have to have something by certain age. What are these boxes?
And I
Not
ended
only
up-
based on age, but body and.
and
Like-
imagine I ended up losing so much weight. I became
Yeah, I
so
remember.
skinny. You remember that time, right? I think it was around that time only. Uske immediately baad I wanted to do
travel.
Bronicle with Shrishti and all of that, the travel blog thing. I
Oh,
ended up
Bronicle,
losing-
yeah, I remember.
I ended up losing so much weight. I was gymming like a crazy person, and everybody around me is telling me, Nitibha, you're losing too much weight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't see it. I
Yeah.
was like, no. It was almost like I was disillusioned with my like body dysmorphia or whatever you call it. And that's not cool,
Yeah.
you know.
Not at all.
That's not cool.
I feel like I love the Gen Z for that. You know, they
Yeah.
are
Oh,
more
they are no,
unabashedly,
they
you
won't
know.
take any bullshit. No way.
I've been 50 kgs, 49 kgs since past 10 years consistently, okay? And I've had love and hate relationship with my body, you know. At one point I could not wear shorts because, my legs look fat. You know, I've body shamed myself more than anybody else has body shamed me. You know, and I've gone through those phases to reach a point where I'm like, okay, it is what it is, you know. I'm sexy the way I am, you know. 5 kgs up and down, it doesn't matter. What is that one thing that you could tell yourself today that you wish you'd known or somebody could tell you?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think, and I learned this it's my new self-work discovery that, like, girl, you can validate yourself. You don't need to call up a friend or whoever else if you're triggered or if something goes wrong to tell you that
It's
it's
okay.
okay. Like, you can
You can be your best friend.
Yeah, you can trust your own judgment and you can validate yourself. That was big for me. I didn't know that existed.
I would actually tell my younger self that, you know, all that you're facing, all the hardships, the failures, the disappointments, they're actually good for you. Stop feeling that these failures and these mistakes are going to be the end of it and you're not going to find, you know, the right
That's a
path.
good one.
You know, because now that I look back upon all those failures, if I would have made it to Miss India, I probably would have never made it to Bigg Boss. I probably would have never discovered the career of social media, which is something that I myself didn't even know existed and could be something that I would feel so passionately about. So I would just be like, it's okay, whatever you're doing, all the mistakes that you're making are good for you, you're learning from them and you're gonna grow from them. Just believe and don't feel disappointed and disheartened.
And like, I often feel like we take failure as a negative term. We take it in a negative connotation. I feel like a failure is your friend.
To everyone who's watching the podcast, I would also like to say that what Sakhi, Sejal and I are saying, that mistakes are your biggest learning, and you know, it all sounds theoretically like super like chill and cool,
Yeah.
but when you're actually facing
Suffering
a
and
disappointment,
going
you
through
worked
it, yeah.
so hard for something, like we
Yeah.
did this pageant and both of us wanted it so badly and we didn't make it.
Yeah.
At that point, even we didn't have the realization that this mistake or this failure is going to lead to something bigger and better in life.
Dots connect when you look back.
Dots connect when you look back, but in that moment it sounds like a lot of jargon and a lot of like, you know, stuff
Yeah.
that they're saying, because now they're here, now they're all hustling and they all have successful careers, so they can say all of this.
Yeah.
But what about us? We're going through this. But just believe that this is something every person who's tasted any sort of success in life, who's done anything substantial in life, will repeat it. So when everybody's saying it, there has to be some virtue to it. You know, it can't be baseless. So as much as it sounds like theory, just try and believe it, because I know it sounds really tough.
No, definitely. And you know, even if we have hustling, successful, quote unquote careers, I'm sure at this point and at this age, and I know I can speak on both of your behalf, you're also questioning the whole idea of what is success in its definition.
That is another podcast altogether.
But that's another, that's stuff for another
podcast.
episode.
I think that's a midlife crisis hitting us.
You know, but quote unquote successful careers, let's just stick to that for now, that definition of success. You know, it's not like we're not going through our own challenges or obstacles, you know. I feel bogged down every other day, and like there's something or the other happening just because we're not talking about it or posting about it, you know. So this whole
don't believe what you see on social media.
Social media is good and bad. You know, I always say that people say, oh, it's very toxic. No, I think there's so much that positivity you can do, and there's so much that you can take out of it.
What you
know?
consume,
what you consume. My God, कितनी serious conversation हो गया है ना end में आके.
बड़े हो गए हम बच्चे जो मिले थे हम सारे बच्चे थे when we all met.
Now I want to play this game with you all. It's not rapid fire, or maybe it is, but we're not calling it rapid fire. Basically एक चिट्ठा उठाना है, मुझे देना, I'll read it out, and just try to answer it as precisely as possible. Okay, let's start with Nitibha. Are you ready?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Tell us about your most hilarious period day blunder and how your girls came to your rescue.
I think as it's been with everyone, I ended up spotting and...
School time?
No, this was actually in college. Yeah, I remember one of my college friends is like holding a register and like moving behind me to go to the loo. And then I don't know, like we try to wash it, scrub it. I don't know what we did, but somehow managed to like salvage that situation.
Got it. I think it used to be really bad because we had white uniform in schools, you know. तो तब ज़्यादा ऐसे लगता था. Your character's in a sitcom where a teenager is nervous about getting her first period. How do you, as a family member, provide support or share any advice?
Okay, wait. That's really interesting. I would give that advice, especially if it's a kid.
What sitcom are you imagining?
Friends. So I would give this advice to Emma, okay, in a group only, in a public setting, so that she doesn't think that it's a secret and it can be just given normally. And then whatever product that I feel I want to advise, whether it's like a pad or a cup or whatever, I'll tell her how to use it and then donezo, ताकि अगली बार उसे कोई problem नहीं हो.
I love the fact that she said privacy में नहीं बताना है. It's not a secret, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. You're a part of a futuristic society where individuals can customize their menstruation experiences. How do you decide on features of your ideal period?
I think I would say both men and women should have periods.
I love that answer.
Why not? Because you know why?
Whoa,
why does the
definitely
onus of?
I couldn't have thought of this.
Why
very
does
cool.
the onus of?
Very cool. Very
you know,
cool. Yeah.
Korean heart. So yeah, just if we talk about equality in every aspect of life, in the
100%.
workplace, in you know,
I love that
then
thought.
men, women, in fact, all genders should get periods because
100%.
everybody should have the same experiences, the same life experiences.
Oh, okay. Can I read?
अच्छा ठीक है okay one.
चल ठीक है मैं पढ़ती
Give it to you.
Okay, if you had to make a template answer for everything someone asks you
Every
time someone asks you about your biological clock ticking, what would it be? अभी मैं कतार में हूँ.
Ooh, अच्छा.
A podcast book on sex education that you would recommend. It's neither a podcast nor a book. It's actually a series on Netflix, which is Sex Education, which is really cool. Like, I just think it's a really cool and a fun and a
way
very,
of,
you know, interesting take on sex education and just talking about the whole topic.
Sure.
Imagine you're sitting on a trauma chair and you have to release one trauma from your dating life. What would it be?
Red flag.
Gaslighting. Yeah, that.
Gaslighting.
Not fun.
Okay, last
If
one.
there were a hamper, would I be winning it?
Sure, there is a hamper.
Tell me your relationship personality archetype, attachment style, avoidant, anxious, secure. Oh, that was not for me to
That
read.
was your answer.
My relationship personality archetype is that it's like I don't care, but I care. You know, like my guy would always be like, she doesn't care. Like she doesn't care about me. She doesn't care about this relationship. She doesn't.
Is this
have
a coping
emotional
mechanism?
space. Maybe it is a way, the wall that I sort of have created, which we spoke about in the podcast earlier, that I try to shy away from expressing my emotions, expressing my feelings, which has changed as I've grown. So it would come across that I don't care, but if the guy dug deeper, he would know that I genuinely do care.
Thank you so much for coming to my podcast. I'm extremely
Thanks for having
grateful
us.
Yes,
that you
thank
came
you
here,
for
took the
having
time
us.
out, and of course gave me so much to chew upon, so much to reflect upon. Good memories to be catching up. We've spoken about some really beautiful things, and I'm sure not only for us as a rekindling after. I think we haven't spoken this much in so many years.
Yeah,
It's felt like
ever.
ever. And but to the audiences watching this podcast, I feel there's so much to gain from it. There's so much to sink in from everything that we've shared.
Discussed,
So
yeah.
thank you so much.
Hi guys, if you like this episode, I say do not keep it as a secret. Like it, share it with everyone far and wide, and make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on such cool conversations. Okay, bye.